Hello everyone, Lawrence here from Unicorn Reviews with this beauty, the Inwin 805. It's an absolutely gorgeous case. If you want to see the stuff I put in there, you can click the eye in the top right corner for the build video. Anyway, we're going to start off with a physical overview, starting at the front, which I think is like a showpiece, you know, it's just beautiful. So the entire front is made out of glass, but there's no air intake there. So that's really weird, right? But behind the glass there's like a metal plate, and the metal plate has this honeycomb structure cut out of it. Absolutely gorgeous. Now you can put two 140s or two 120mm fans there. If you use LED fans, you know, it's just beautiful, really. You can see on your screen what's happening when you put LED fans in there. In terms of I/O, you get two USB 2 ports, you get your microphone in, headphone out, but here's the cool bit. You get two USB 3 ports and one of them is USB Type-C. So this is actually the first case I'm aware of to have that. It also has two lights for your hard drive activity and the power light, as well as a lovely power button. Top of the case is completely unventilated, so it's just a massive piece of aluminium, brushed aluminium, looks amazing. Now moving on to the side panels, both side panels are made out of glass. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's kind of reflective, but depending on how much light you put inside the case, it becomes less reflective, so you can really choose how much reflectiveness you want out of these side panels just by adding lights inside the case, from fans or LED strips, whatever you want to put in there. I kind of like it really dark in my cases so that you only see the CPU cooler and the graphics card, and so you also see less of the cables behind it. You can also block off the cable management side of the case, so the left side of the case, to make it completely dark in there, and then you really only see the top bits that are closest to the glass. Now these side panels on both sides cover the entire side, so it's not like a window in a metal panel. And the way you mount them, unlike with Lee & Lee cases, is the glass actually goes over rubber thingies. I don't even know what they're called. So the glass actually stays in place that way. So then you just screw the thumb screws in. There's no rattle, so I was kind of afraid that there would be a lot of rattling from the glass panels, but there's none at all. So it's a very quiet experience in this case. Moving on to the back, and that is where I have a bit of an issue. The I/O plate is recessed, it's inwards, and for me it means I cannot use it. Or at least I cannot use the bottom connectors, because if I use my headphone connector on my main headphone, the connector actually hits the case. So if you have thick connectors that you want to plug into the bottom I/O on your motherboard, you might have an issue there. For me it is the headphone, so I just plug it into the front. It's not big of a deal, but I can imagine if you have Wi-Fi antennas there or USB connectors, it can be a bit annoying. There are also 8 PCIe slots, so you can put 4 graphics cards or just 8 expansion cards if they're all single slot. You know, you choose what you put in there, it's your computer. The case is lifted off the ground by about 1.5 centimeters, and there's a magnetic dust filter in the front bottom. All the air intake is coming from there, guys, so it's really important that you create a good surface to put your case on. I would not put it on a carpet or anything like that, because you'll just, you know, there won't be any air inside your case. So really important. There are also no fans on there, so you kind of create a negative airflow thing. And what's really weird is because there are fans in the front, but there's no front intake, all the air has to come from the bottom and then make a trip around, which is why I made this custom basement design, so that it really nicely channels all the air, and it's not just the front fans doing absolutely nothing. The basement also kind of helps, you know, stash away cables, because the backside is made out of glass as well, so you see absolutely everything. I decided to make a basement just to stash cables in as well. Now with a glass case, I can imagine you have your reservations about how it's packaged, right? And so this case is actually packaged quite well. There's a very thick cloth cover that goes over it, none of that plastic crap that gives you like a static shock when you pull it off. So it has a nice cloth cover, a bit like Corsair cases, like the expensive ones. And it also comes with 8 of these closed cell foam things on each corner. So there's also 5 centimeters, I guess, of extra space between the side of the cardboard box it comes in and the glass panels. So shipping should not be an issue with this. I think it's quite nicely packaged. Of course, when you buy a case, you're going to put your own hardware in it. So what's the experience like building in this computer? That's what I'm going to talk about right now. It's actually surprisingly easy. The front metal bracket that holds the fans, and in my case also the hard drives. You can also put the hard drives in the bottom. There's 3 positions, like bottom mounted and then mid mounted, top mounted. I just put it in the top because I'm using an ATX board in an ATX case, and my cables were not long enough if I wanted to put, you know, the hard drive somewhere else. So that's the reason they're in the top. But yeah, building in this case, incredibly easy. It's kind of like throw it in there and it'll fit, because it is so roomy inside there. However, the metal front bracket is, when you put fans on there, it can be a little bit tricky to install. But really guys, if you're building your own computer, you probably know what you're doing. It's not an issue at all. And it's in place there with two thumb screws as well, so it's completely toolless. Now the motherboard tray has a lot of cutouts everywhere. You can fill those cutouts with SSDs or with cables. There are no rubber grommets, but the metal is thick enough so it won't cut your cables. Still, I'd like to see them so you don't see all the way through, and it would make cable management easier because now you have to make sure that there's no cable going over one of those holes, which is actually not that difficult because in the accessory box you get 5 of these clips, so 3M glue clips, and you just clip it on, cables go in, really easy. It also comes with an enormous amount of zip ties, but there are no zip tie hooks, so cable management is a challenge, but it's not a very difficult challenge. It's actually very enjoyable to do, and especially because you have that glass panel on there. You know, you can show off your cable management skills. It's awesome. Right then, so conclusion time on the Inwin 805, starting with the things I absolutely adore. It's the front panel with the lovely honeycomb structure behind it. If you put lights in there, it's gorgeous. The I/O, finally we have a case with USB Type-C. Every case manufacturer should do it by now. It's gorgeous, it's easy to use. I love the front panel, guys, I really do. The top panel I also really like. Now, a lot of you may go like, yeah, but you can't put any fans in there. And I'm like, yeah, but that means you can stash a whole lot of stuff on there. And it just looks good. It's this brushed aluminum, deep brushed, gorgeous stuff. The side panels, again, made out of glass on both sides, so I can show off my cable management, but I can also show off my hardware. It's lovely. But there's where the first negative starts. There's no room to stash any cables or anything you don't want to be seen. So that's why I made this basement. It only cost me about 10 euros for the paint. I had the carbon fiber laying around, so I made my own Inwin stickers. Really easy to do. It took me about an hour. So, you know, you can do it yourself. It's a fun DIY project. In terms of price, it's 170 euros. If you compare that to other high-end cases, it's actually not that expensive, but for the price, I would like to see LED fans in the front. Now the logo on there is illuminated, but it's the wrong way round. A lot of people came in and asked me like, what's Nimni? So yeah, Inwin, your logo is the wrong way round. Other than that though, no complaints there. The logo, as I said, is illuminated, but I think the front should be illuminated as well out of the box, because I spent 34 euros on Corsair SP140 fans just to make it look this good. Now a small negative, as I said, it's the I/O panel. It completely ruins my bottom slots if I want to use my favorite headsets. But if I go with different cable, it's okay. For you guys, it may be okay depending on what type of connectors are in the bottom. Moving back to stuff I do like, it's the dust filter in the bottom. It's not completely easy to access and to clean out and replace, but it's there. You can put two 120s in there as well. I don't think I actually said that before. To get some airflow going, but it's the only intake. You're going to have to clean it a lot, the dust filter, because all the air is coming through there. But it's great, and cooling performance in this case is surprisingly good. If Inwin could put 2 fans in the front extra with the rear fan as well and make him slightly quieter, would be a perfect experience for anyone. So in short, guys, I love this case. It only has a few minor things missing or put the wrong way around, but I love it. Guys, if you like this video, press that like button. If you didn't like the video, press the dislike button. You can leave a comment to tell me what you like about it, what don't you like about it, what should I review next. All that sort of stuff goes in the comments. Also, any other questions about this case, for example. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook, and if you want to support me, get better camera gear and audio gear, there's a Patreon link in the description as well. For now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.